channel. My name is Tidiwa and I recently started this channel, and today we're going to be doing a little get to know me tag, a little Q&A, which hopefully will be short because I do tend to yap a lot, and I'm going to try to make this as straight to the point as possible. I'm going to be answering all of these questions very honestly, but at the same time I don't want to make it too long. Also guys, thank you so much for 35 subscribers in like a week. I'm really happy, and yeah, thank you so much. When I'm filming this, there are 35 subscribers, even though you guys are very quiet. At the moment you guys are kind of quiet, but thank you guys so much for your engagement. So what's your full name and what do people usually call you? That's the first question. So I'm not going to say my surname, but my first name is Tidiwa and my second name is Silent. Yes, silent, as in the word silent. I know it's given Zimbabwe, and yeah, I am Zimbabwean, so I don't mind. So my name is Tidiwa. Most people call me Tidiwa. There's nothing wrong with the name Tidiwa. I love the name Tidiwa so much. The reason I started calling myself Tidiwa is because my mom would call me Tidiwa as a kid, because I started school in Canada and my teachers and classmates couldn't pronounce Tidiwa the proper Shona way. So my mom just started calling me Tidiwa, and I never used that nickname for myself until I went to high school, and there were just so many Tidiwas. There were so many Tidiwas in each and every school I went, especially the first high school I went to. It was an all-girls school, and there were 13 Tidiwas in my stream, guys, not in the school, in my stream. And people started calling different Tidiwas with different nicknames. And I was very, very tiny in high school. Like, I still am a very small person, but in high school it was like extreme. And I was also the youngest in that school. And they started calling me Tiny. And I hated that nickname so much. So I just started calling myself Tidiwa. Even like when I first had my Instagram, I think I was like 14 or 15 when I had my first Instagram account, and I tried making a username with the name Tidiwa, and almost all of them were taken, because if you're Zimbabwean, you know that in our generation there are so many Tidiwa Nashis, like, so all of them were taken, and that's when I just actually started using Tidiwa. And a lot of people get confused about it this side, because they're like, oh, your socials have an H, but then when we're in class you don't write an H. Then I also have this customized necklace my sister got for me, which has the proper spelling. So people here would be like, what's the spelling of your name? Because in Zimbabwe, DI and DH have different pronunciations, but then in different countries, if you want to say B, it's still just DI. If you want to say D, it's just DI. But then in Zimbabwe, DI is B, DHI is D. So my name is not Tidiwa, it's Tidiwa Nashi. Thank you. I was just clarifying that for people that aren't Zimbabwean. Next question is, where are you originally from and where do you live right now? I'm originally from Zimbabwe, guys, like 100%. Throughout school, there were so many people that would be like, which country are you from? Like, I'm 100% Zimbabwean, Shona. I don't speak Ndebele like at all. Like, there are two main languages in Zimbabwe. We speak Shona and English. My dad is 100% Zimbabwean. My mom is kind of Zambian, but I'm Zimbabwean 100%. And right now I'm in Malaysia. I don't plan to live here the rest of my life. I'm just here to study, to be honest. So yeah, Zimbabwe, Malaysia. Next question is school related. What are you studying and why did you choose it? I'm studying physiotherapy. And the reason I chose physiotherapy is because I always wanted to do something in the, not always, but for a very long time, I wanted to do something on the medical side. I loved biology. But then the reason I specifically chose physiotherapy, one of the first reasons was I'm scared of blood. I don't like seeing blood a lot, so I knew I wanted to do something to do with like the medical side, but then I didn't want to do anything to do with surgery. So I was like, oh, physiotherapy. So then when I found out about it and I actually started researching way more about it whilst I was in A level, that's when I was actually like, oh, this is what it's about. Because I feel like there's this huge misconception about what physiotherapy is. Most people have no idea what it is, and that's actually one of the things on this channel I'd like to enlighten people about whilst I'm on this journey. Because most people don't know what physiotherapy is. Some people literally think it just has to do with massages. Some people, yeah. But when I found out what it actually is, I fell in love with it. I specifically want to focus on sport physiotherapy. It might change. Maybe it might change whilst I'm learning. During these 4 years, I might change my mind. I don't want to specialize with sport, but at the moment, I want to specialize with sports. And it's not because I want to be working with a bunch of ads.
What do you mean by that?
I want to be film or anything. No, I just love sports. Next question is, what's your star sign? I'm a Christian, guys. I don't do those signs. I don't do those astrology. Is it astrology? Horoscope? I don't know, but I don't do star signs, guys. And I know a bunch of people are gonna be like, oh, just because you're if you're a Christian and you're like, and your star sign is like a part of you, or like you justify a certain characteristic or behavior about yourself because of a star sign, read your Bible. Read your Bible. Are you an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert? Okay, so I feel like I was an introvert until I was around like 16 years old, and I slowly started turning into an ambivert. But up till then, I was 100% an introvert. I was a very, very reserved person. Like that second name I told you, Silent, I stuck to it like this. I was a very quiet person, but now I'm an ambivert. What's one thing people assume about you that isn't true? I feel like I really would have to think about this, because I really don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Like, the people that gossip about me do a very good job at making sure it never gets, the information never gets back to me, because I actually don't know what people say about me. And it's something people assume. An assumption about me. I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think. Well, in high school, one of the biggest assumptions about me from my classmates was that I was a very hardworking student. Does that count as an assumption? And I'm not even proudly saying this. This is actually something about myself that I'm working on this year. And to be honest, I've improved since I started university. Because now I know that the consequences of failing in uni are way bigger than the consequences of failing when I was in high school. So now I actually try to put in that effort. But one of the biggest assumptions in high school was that I would study. Like, I go by the rule, study like you don't pray and pray like you don't study. But I pray 80% and study 20, and it's supposed to be like this. I pray 80 and study 20, and to be honest, that's the only reason I didn't even get into it. I was not a good high school student in terms of I took my academics seriously, but I just didn't like reading. I just didn't like studying. Like, that's the honest truth. I just straight up didn't like studying. What's your favorite food? I'm not good at these favorite questions. I don't have a favorite food. I don't have a favorite song. I don't have a favorite musician. I'm not good with favorites. I'm very open to trying new things all the time, so I'm not good at favorites. That's probably one of the reasons why it's hard for me to have a best friend. I can't just be like, oh, I love these people so much, but that one's gonna be my favorite one. That's probably why I'm single. I've never thought about it that way. That's actually probably one of the reasons I'm single. I can't just be like, oh, that's my favorite person. Well, one day, I will be able to have a favorite person. Has living abroad changed? No. This is mainly because in my head I haven't left Zimbabwe yet. I was actually talking to my sister about this just the other day. In my head I'm still in Zimbabwe. I still haven't fully accepted the fact that I'm not in Zimbabwe anymore, and because of that, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I think the only thing that has changed is, even though I've always been super responsible, I've always been a very responsible child, very mature child, but now I realize that I'm even more accountable for everything that I do. Like, as much as I had a bunch of responsibilities at home, if something went wrong with something that I'm doing, I always knew I could just turn to my dad. Oh, Dad, I did this. I need you to fix it for me. Or, anything, I have someone to turn to. So right now, since I'm in a country where I don't have any relatives or anything like that, I feel like I've just become more, not responsible, because I've always been responsible, but yeah, now I'm more careful. I don't leave as much room for mistakes, because now my mistakes have way bigger consequences than my mistakes did when I was at home. An example, if I hit someone's car back at home, how do you stay connected to God while being away from home? So the first 2 weeks, I don't know, but the first weeks I got here, this was actually a bit of a challenge for me, because I was asking myself, I just had a few days I slacked in terms of some of my daily habits that I have to stay really close to God. And I started questioning myself, oh my gosh, does this mean that all of my faith was just based off of my church community at home? I started asking myself so many questions. So one way you should stay connected to God while being away from home, you need to understand that you shouldn't tie your faith you shouldn't tie your relationship with God with your environment. You shouldn't tie your relationship with God with your relationship with your church. You shouldn't tie your relationship with God with anything else. As long as your relationship with God is solely based off of, if it's super intimate and just you and God, then your environment doesn't affect your relationship with God at all. And then staying connected to God is just about prioritizing Him. Just make sure you keep God as a priority. First thing in the morning, like your first minutes of the day. I was gonna say hours, but that really depends. If you can do hours, but just try to give your first moments of the day to God, your last moments of the day to God. Thank Him for each and everything. Pray whenever you can. Read your Bible. This is so important, but read your Bible. So many Christians don't read their Bibles these days, and it's crazy because that's how you see so many of these Christian influencers giving advice that's based off of their opinions and not actually based off of the Word of God. So one of the ways you can stay connected to Him is reading His Word, because you can't really find out more about Him or know what He wants from you if you don't actually read the Bible. So yeah, there's that. People just be giving their opinions these days on social media, and it's pretty stupid. What kind of person do you want to become? I want to become the best version of myself. This channel is called Becoming Titiwa, and I want to become the best version
Yes,
of
sir.
me. I want to become the most successful version of me.
Yes, sir.
I want my relationship with God to just become stronger.
Yes, sir.
I want to help people.
Yes, sir.
I want to be the reason someone gives their life to Christ. I want to
Yes,
be
sir.
the reason someone feels good about themselves.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to be the reason someone takes their education seriously.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to be the reason someone feels content with their life.
Yes, sir.
I just want to be the best version of Tiwa I can become. So many people, they're just oh, I have so much potential. I want to use that potential. and not just be like if whatnot. I don't want to live with regrets or anything. Are you a night person or morning person? I'm both. Like, and that's a huge flex. I'm literally both. Because I sleep for about 6 hours every day. 6 hours. So I sleep around 10 p.m. I wake up around 4:30 a.m. Don't take this as advice, don't take this as like a blueprint of what you're supposed to do. That's just me. But I'm both a morning person and a night person. I actually do most things in the at night and in the morning, so that my day I have control over the rest of my schedule, and the rest of my schedule doesn't have to control me. I don't like to feel like a slave to time. I want to be able to randomly during the day be like, okay, right now I'm done with my class, I want to watch this, I want to relax. I don't just like to relax when I'm sleeping, because the rest of my day was just pressure. I don't dwell under pressure. So because of that, I take my morning and night routine very seriously. And I'm not saying people should sleep for 6 hours. The reason I sleep 6 hours is mainly because I started going to work when I was on my pay break, and the schedule was crazy. It forced me to sleep for 4 hours each and every day, and I got used to it. Now it's at the point where after 6 hours of sleep, I just wake up. I literally just wake up after 6 hours of sleep. And on weekends, that's when I'll try to sleep in, and maybe I'll try to stay in bed for an extra 2 hours or something, just doing nothing meaningful with my life. So one of the questions is, what do you miss most about Zimbabwe? I can't choose one thing that I miss most about being in Zimbabwe, but if I was just to choose one thing I miss about being in Zimbabwe, or just Africa in general, is not feeling like alienated, if that makes any sense. Like, whether or not, whenever you're outside Africa, doesn't even matter if the country you're in has people that are racist or they're not. It's nothing to. Disclaimer: this has nothing to do with racism. As long as you're in an environment where everyone just is different from you, there's this sense of alien, you feel like an alien. Because as a kid, it's easier, but when you're older, you feel it way more, because it's deeper than just like, oh, my skin is dark and yours is not dark. It goes from hair, it goes from the way you speak, the food. It's just so many things that make me feel out of place randomly. Like randomly during a conversation, you just feel like you can't relate to the inside jokes. It's just so many things. So I think what I miss most about being in Zimbabwe is just feeling like I belong, because that is my country. I feel like I belong. Even though sometimes when I am in Zim, I do have a bunch of people, friends who will be like, oh, you're a coconut, whatnot. But at the end of the day, I feel like I belong in Zim. I really do just feel like I belong here. That's one of the reasons why I'm always like, I wouldn't want to permanently stay outside Africa. Like, maybe I'll work outside Africa, but eventually I want to go back home. I belong there. What do you love most about uni? To be honest, I know for everyone this is different, but for me and the lifestyle I had whilst I was in A level, and maybe it was also because of the school I went to, my life at home, there's not a huge difference between my A level life and my uni life, because of course a lot of people are like independence, freedom, independence, but then here the education system here, especially for international students, is a bit more strict. Like, we have a dress code, and even your attendance is super important. In Zim they'll be telling you, especially in the A level, they'll be like, if you don't know how to discipline yourself now, don't know what you're gonna do in uni, because if you don't want to go, it's on you don't live by your own rules just because you're now in university. To be honest, it feels like high school with a less standard timetable, because this week I might have more lessons than the previous, but besides that, for me there's not much of a difference. So there's nothing I can be like, oh, I love this about you, like. And then is it in terms of people who are like, oh, I don't like you because of the responsibility. I've been living like this for a very long time, so no, there's not much of a difference for me. It doesn't feel any different. I feel like this should have been one of the first questions. Why did you start YouTube? I've always loved YouTube. Okay, not always, but I've been watching YouTube for a very, very long time. Like even when I was younger, I was about Amp World and whatever. I'd watch the Stokes Twins that was a long time ago though. Now I don't even know what any of those people are doing. I was just a YouTube kid, to be honest. Wait, was I really a YouTube kid? I don't know if I can really say I was a YouTube kid, but I watched YouTube a lot. Even when TikTok came in I don't know when exactly TikTok came, but I know the first time I started watching people on TikTok was 2019, just before COVID. And I still just stuck to YouTube. Even today, I spend more time on YouTube than TikTok. So I loved watching other girls, their digital diaries. I really loved that type of content. But then the reason I didn't really film anything is because I'd be like, okay, I love watching people, but I don't think there's anything unique about me to make other people want to watch me doing the exact same thing, because most channels these days are exactly the same. And then one of my favorite Zimbabwean YouTubers, Yemurai Chocho, I'm pretty sure some people know her. She recently just finished uni in Australia, and I was binge watching her videos because she hasn't been active a lot. She hasn't been that active. So I was binge watching one of her videos, and she was actually talking about how she started content, and she was talking about there's always a gap, there's always somewhere you can fit in. And this was actually last year, but only Zimbabweans will understand why I said that. If you're not Zimbabwean, I mean the year before, yes, last year. Anyways, when I was in upper sixth, that's when I actually wanted to start this, and it actually like threw off my life. But I was like, this still just feels exactly the same as everyone else. Then last year, when I wanted to come to uni, I started searching for Zimbabwean YouTubers in Asia, Zimbabwean YouTubers Malaysia, Zimbabwean physio students. I was looking for content that I knew I wanted to now relate to. I couldn't find content on physiotherapy. I couldn't find content on Malaysia, African-led Malaysia, or anything related to that. And I also couldn't find a lot of Christian people who vlog their daily life. Most Christians on YouTube are people that just make faith-based content. Like, they don't really show their normal lives as a Christian. They just show like videos giving advice and stuff like that, which I also love to watch. But then I couldn't find the specific thing that I wanted. I couldn't find physiotherapy. I think even right now, if you search, everything I could find on physiotherapy was either in the UK or South Africa, and it was very formal, if that makes any sense. It wasn't that fun. So because of that, I was like, if I can't find it, there's probably someone else who's gonna want to find it. So I'm gonna be lazy. So I'm gonna start making my own stuff. But then I was like, the right time, and I started school in September. I was actually planning to vlog my whole like 8th break, and now I really wish I did, because my 8th break was fun. I loved my 8th break. It was so fun. I wish I could relive my 8th break, guys. Well, technically I was never really a homebody. There wasn't really a time I was just like, I'm at home all the time. But yeah. See, I'm yapping too much. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, I'll In 5 years, I would have graduated. I think in 5 years, I'm not going to be in Malaysia anymore. I'm going to be working. Either I'm going to be working or I'm going to be doing my master's if I decide to do one. I'm not exactly sure. God knows where I'll be in 5 years. I don't. Advice you would give to your younger self? Start now. Because right now I keep on asking myself, what would have actually happened if I just started the first time I wanted to start when I was like 16 or something? So that's advice I'd give my young self, just start now. What's a Bible verse or quote that's helping you right now? Jeremiah 29 verse 11. That's literally the other side of this necklace, Jeremiah 29 verse 11. I feel like that verse has been helping me so much since I finished high school. Because from the time I finished high school, that's when you stop living life according to the blueprint. From high school, there are so many different paths for people. You can get married immediately, you can start working, you can continue with your studies. There's just so many paths. So it's been helping me to just know that God has a plan for me, and I should just stick to His plan and His will. Everything will be fine. Sticking to knowing that God has that plan when I don't know what the plan is. But yeah, that has been my go-to verse. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. You guys can drop your video requests in the comments or on my Instagram at Tadiwa06 with underscores. I don't know how many, but I'll leave it in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.